The Galactic Academy's corridors hummed with the energy of 1,000 species, each more formidable than the last. Bella watched from her corner desk as Vraxian warriors practiced combat maneuvers that could shatter steel, while Corthian scholars manipulated gravitational fields with mere thought. She, a human, possessed no natural armor, no telepathic abilities, no enhanced strength. In the hierarchy of the Academy, humans ranked near the bottom, fragile, short-lived, unremarkable. Pathetic, hissed Zekthar, a reptilian Drask whose species had conquered 12 systems before joining the Galactic Coalition. His clawed hand swept Bella's datapad off her desk, sending it clattering across the polished floor. Humans shouldn't even be allowed here. You're wasting resources that could train real warriors. Bella said nothing. She'd learned that silence was survival. She bent to retrieve her datapad, ignoring the laughter that rippled through the classroom. Professor Velkara, a crystalline being who communicated through light pulses, either didn't notice or didn't care. Humans were an afterthought in galactic politics, admitted to the Academy only because Earth had rare minerals the Coalition wanted. After class, Bella walked through the Biodome Gardens, the one place where she felt almost at peace. The Academy had recreated environments from 100 worlds, and she found comfort among Earth's section. Oak trees, wildflowers, the smell of grass after rain. That's where she found him. Leo lay crumpled beneath a Kryn battle tree, its purple leaves rustling in the artificial wind. But Leo was no ordinary student. He was Sentinel class, one of the Academy's elite warriors, a member of the Apex Guard, beings chosen from species across the galaxy for their exceptional combat abilities. His platinum armor was scorched and dented, and blue blood seeped from a wound in his side. Any rational person would have walked away. Sentinel-class students didn't mix with regular cadets, especially not humans. They were living weapons, trained from childhood, emotionally conditioned to value only strength and victory. Approaching an injured Apex Guard could be seen as an insult, as if Bella thought he needed help from someone as weak as her. But Bella had been a paramedic before the Academy. Old instincts died hard. "You're bleeding," she said quietly, kneeling beside him. Leo's eyes, triple-pupilled and silver, focused on her with predatory intensity. "Leave." His voice carried harmonics that made her bones vibrate. "I don't need assistance from a baseline human." "That wound is septic," Bella observed, pulling her emergency medkit from her pack. "Your biosigns are destabilizing. Whatever injured you used a toxin designed to bypass Sentinel regeneration protocols." "Impossible. Nothing can," Leo's words cut off as his body convulsed. Bella didn't wait for permission. She'd seen enough combat injuries to recognize fatal ones. Working quickly, she applied a broad-spectrum neutralizer, then used human-designed nanosutures, too primitive for galactic medicine to bother with but effective. As she worked, Leo watched her with an expression she couldn't read. "Why?" he asked finally. "You gain nothing from this. In fact, you risk disciplinary action. Apex Guard training protocols are classified. Witnessing my vulnerability could be considered a security breach." Bella didn't look up from her work. "Because you need help and I can provide it, that's reason enough." Something shifted in Leo's silver eyes. In that moment, Bella didn't know she just altered the course of her life, and possibly galactic history. The next day, Bella arrived at Advanced Quantum Mechanics to find her usual seat occupied by Leo. The entire classroom fell silent. Sentinel-class students had their own facilities, their own teachers. They didn't attend regular classes. "This seat is taken," Leo said flatly, staring at Zekthar, who had been tormenting Bella daily. The Drask warrior stood his ground for exactly 3 seconds before Leo's combat aura manifested, a barely visible distortion in the air that made every survival instinct scream danger. Zekthar relocated to the back row. Leo gestured to the seat beside him. "Sit, Bella." She did, acutely aware of every eye on her. Over the following weeks, a pattern emerged. Where Bella went, Leo followed. Not obviously, Sentinel-class warriors were too professional for that, but his presence was unmistakable. When Bella entered the cafeteria, Leo would materialize nearby. When she worked late in the library, he'd take a position with clear sightlines to her study Carol. The bullying stopped completely. But it was Professor Haskron's strategic combat class where everything changed. The Krell instructor, famous for his contempt of lesser species, had designed an exercise specifically to humiliate human students. Bella, Haskron's voice dripped with disdain, you will face Combat Drone Series Omega-7. Let's see if human courage is anything more than primitive stubbornness. Omega-7 drones were used to train mid-level warriors. For a human, it was a death sentence thinly disguised as education. Bella stepped into the combat ring, her heart hammering. The drone activated, its weapons array glowing with lethal intent. Then Leo stood. "Protocol challenge," he declared, his voice carrying the weight of absolute authority. Under Academy Statute 7 Alpha, a Sentinel-class warrior may invoke protection rights over any student they deem worthy. I claim Bella as my protected charge. The classroom erupted in chaos. Protection rights were ancient, rarely invoked, and carried enormous implications. A Sentinel's protected charge became untouchable. To harm them was to challenge the Sentinel directly. Professor Haskron's face darkened. You would stake your honor on a human, the weakest species in this academy. Leo's combat aura expanded, filling the room with pressure that made several students stumble. I stake my honor on the being who saved my life when she had everything to lose and nothing to gain. She demonstrated the highest form of strength, compassion without expectation of reward. That is rarer than any combat ability. He turned to face the entire class. You measure strength in violence and dominance, but I was dying and not one of my fellow Sentinels stopped to help. They respected protocol over life. Bella violated protocol to save mine. She is worth protecting. The Academy's Chancellor arrived within hours. Protection rights required official arbitration. Bella stood in the Grand Chamber while the Council of 12, representatives of the galaxy's most powerful species, debated her fate. This is unprecedented, Chancellor Vormak declared. A Sentinel has never claimed a human as protected charge. Then let it set precedent, Leo replied. The Academy teaches that strength takes many forms. I'm simply acknowledging a form you've overlooked. After 3 hours of deliberation, the Council voted, 7-5 in favor. Bella was now under Sentinel protection, the first human in galactic history to receive such status. As they left the chamber, Bella finally asked the question that had haunted her. Why, Leo? You risked your entire career for me. Leo stopped, his silver eyes meeting hers. Because in a galaxy obsessed with power, you showed me something more valuable, humanity in its truest sense. Not the species, but the quality. Kindness without calculation. Courage without weapons. That's a strength worth protecting. From that day forward, Bella walked the academy corridors with her head high. The weakest student had gained the strongest protector, and in doing so, had begun to change the very definition of strength itself. And in the Biodome Gardens, beneath Earth's oak trees, a friendship grew that would one day reshape the stars.